I mean, I'll tell you all that later, but
No,
so
tell me
I
what.
go like, hey, I'm a lady citizen journalist for my old age. Hell, that's great. It's great because, I love that. Oh, no, I can't remember her name, but that one that used to interview everybody in the 50s. She had her own show and she did the greatest interviews. And I'm so stupid, I can't remember her name. Jake, check that lady out. My son.
Lady in the 50s who used to interview
She
people.
had a great interview show. Anyway, but I like being a citizen journalist. Like you're a real journalist, but you're also a writer, which astounds me because we never see that anywhere. I mean, you are such a great writer.
Yeah, I think he runs, and I think Trump beats him. I think Trump beats him. I think Trump has become much more likable, and this is how Trump can win things. Like he's a good winner. He's not as good a leader as he is a winner. Like he can win because he's a great insult comic, right? He can point out why these things are horrible or these guys are bad. But leading is not that. Leading isn't being the insult guy. Leading is like getting everybody on board, committed to the same task, and then taking them to the finish line.
It was only a bloody struggle that black people were embalmed in, where our churches were bombed, leaders assassinated, just for trying to join Joe Biden's party. And so now we're at this place where they are coming at Second Amendment rights that were not made for me, but were made for white people. And that means that if this door is open.
But may I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
So, but this is being done by the administration that tells us constantly how much they love and worship black people.
The interesting thing, Tucker, is that in the notice from the assistant U.S. attorney to my lead attorney is that they wanted me to show up at the field office, and I quote, wearing shorts, T-shirt, and flip-flops. And I knew what that meant. That meant that they were probably going to change me into the orange jumpsuit and that I would then be leg shackled, because the plan was for the FBI to process me there at the field office, put me in a car, take me downtown to the courthouse where they would hand me over to the U.S. Marshals.
People may or may not like what I'm saying or agree with it, and that's all right. But I'm saying it, and the point is the United States government attacked me, and they used this assault with the assumption that there are a lot of white people who don't like what I'm saying and therefore will agree with what the government is doing, despite the fact there are no facts to substantiate what they're claiming that we did. And so this is the kind of public opinion that they think will weigh in their favor. But the point is that the Second Amendment and the constitutional rights, free speech, freedom of assembly, protection from what is it called? This attack on illegal search and seizure. This is self-determination, and that's the problem that they have, and that's the thing that the Democratic Party has, because it relies on having this relationship with black people who are tied to welfare slavery and not self-determination, and we won't tolerate that.
Amen. If you don't mind my asking, let me tell you why I'm asking. I want to ask how old you are, because I see this armored personnel carrier in front of your house. It looks like a war. And I see dozens of heavily armed FBI agents
To unite as a part of a free speech, anti-colonial free speech movement who are pushing back on this. And I think that includes one organization of lawyers and what have you. But generally speaking, we haven't been able to get anything. Even so-called progressive black politicians and what have you have not stepped forward. But you also got to remember, we're talking about a period where it's impermissible even to say things. Well, you can say from sea to shining sea. You cannot say from how's it go, from the river to all.
Yeah, why? That's kind of weird.
No, and it's really a real serious kind of contradiction that this is able to occur, and especially, we talk about Biden. If we just take it on a personal level, which is not necessarily where I was intending to go, but if you take it just on a personal level, we're talking about Biden, who claims to be the great liberal, white man who loves us. We're talking also about the guy who was opposed to the Civil Rights Bill. Talking about the guy who was opposed to busing because he didn't want his children to have to go to school in a jungle. et cetera, just on a personal level. And